we went on vacation mode over Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that's why a few of you are here to find out how exactly vacation mode works and goes on eBay.
Okay, so if you don't know, vacation mode is essentially eBay's way of letting you take a vacation while keeping your store open or closed. If you do, I believe it's either 14 or 15 days for a vacation, you can keep your items active and people can purchase your items and everything. And there is a note, I'm pretty sure it's at the top of each of your listings when they click on it, saying that you are on vacation until whatever such and such dates that you choose. If you go over the 14 or 15 days, if it's going to be longer, which I believe they'll let you go up to 30 days, your store is hidden, so nobody can buy anything, for the simple fact that nobody wants to wait 31 days for their item to get shipped. They also allow you to send an automatic message, whether it's the automated one they have or I pre-listed one, letting them know that their items are going to be shipped on the 2nd when we got back, that we were away and everything else. And if there's any issues, for them to message us that they could cancel their orders and go somewhere else. Thankfully, nobody had any problems with it. Everybody waited and everybody's packages have been shipped out.
So first things first, the biggest thing that I want to point out is for vacation mode, we had a ton of things in our drafts ready to post, and we were continuing to post daily while we were on vacation. So when we're talking about our numbers, when we're talking about things that sold, that is something to take into account. I've said this in past videos. I'll say it again. Staying active, making sure that daily you're going on, you're posting stuff, responding to offers, making offers, all of that is extremely important in showing that you are active. My thought is, eBay puts the trust and their reputation on the line by the seller essentially. So if you're showing that you're an active store and that you're actually going to get the things shipped that are being bought, they're more likely to push your things out, if that makes sense. I think vacation mode itself went pretty okay. I mean, we did about average for what we normally do. I'm curious to kind of see feedback over the next several weeks.
Yes, because everything prior to us leaving was already shipped over the week. So pretty much our feedback is now going down because everything's been shipped. It's been about 7 to 10 days since we shipped our last one, and that package arrived real quick.
Yes, and one of the biggest feedbacks that we usually get is fast shipping. Fast shipping. Everyone always comments on our shipping. So I'm very curious to see what kind of feedback we're going to get given the week-long vacation and the delay in shipping.
So during the week, did run 2 sales from pretty much the day that we left until the day we got back on Saturday, so Friday to Saturday. One was for, I believe, 30% off of most of our items that have been sitting in the store. If you go on to set up a sale, you can set it to however many days or price that you want, and we set it from everything that's been on our store for at least 40 days back, where it was 30% off of 90% of those items. And then we ran another one that was for 20% off of more recent stuff that we put up, just to stay competitive, because it was Black Friday and Cyber Monday was coming around the corner. We have a sale for this week as well for Cyber Week for certain items, but the sales did help. It did take a while for us to get more sales during the week. My assumption is because they could see that their item wouldn't be shipped out to a second. After Wednesday came around, the sales started coming back in like normal, because I assume most people realized that the post offices were closed, so even if they bought it, it wasn't going to get shipped out regardless.
Also, just with Black Friday coming up, people generally are going to save their money for Black Friday. I did notice Thursday and Friday sales really picked up. Anyway, so the first thing here on the list that sold was the Silver Mist Disney. It was a Tinkerbell. I think I actually showed it off in one of the videos. I'm not entirely sure. It was $51 after fees and everything. We netted $41 from that, and I think I bought it for $8.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but it is about $35, 35 is what we made from that.
Yes, another thing was a Bath and Body Works lotion that I picked up a while ago for only like $4. After fees and everything, we netted about $19 for it, which was nice. I didn't realize it discontinued it. It did take a lot longer to sell than I thought it was going to. Same with this Funko Pop. Everybody says don't buy used Funko Pops. We happened to just pick it up because we had a coupon for Goodwill and it was already only $2. It ended up selling and we ended up netting about $13.79 for it. It did sit around again for about, I want to say about a month and a half.
Yeah, that one sat for quite a while.
At some point, as long as you price your stuff well and correct, you don't ever want to be the highest person's price. You don't ever want to be the lowest person's price. You want to be right about there in the middle where all of them are. If you are choosing to have the buyers pay shipping or you're doing a flat rate, look at what others are selling. Sometimes if an item's selling for $40 and you see 12 of them, if they all have free shipping, you're probably going to want to price it down a little bit because those sellers are putting the cost to ship in with the item
Yes.
versus just hoping that they get a extra couple dollars out of it. You want to go on to the next item?
Sure.
Your gloves.
Yeah, so another thing I picked up, they were only a couple bucks. They're these Burton Gore-Tex under mittens. Total, it was 27.12. After fees and everything was 21.20. So sales wise, I think we sold a total of what, 16 items?
15
15 items from that entire week that we were gone, which again is about average for us.
for sales numbers, not price.
Yes, price was definitely less than what we're used to, which part of that I feel like was just we were really one thing that we were hoping for was going out of town. We could hit up the Goodwills and would have luck there. The Goodwills in the town we were in were just not.
Now they had a Goodwill's bins and everything there was nothing at all.
Yeah, and then
And the actual Goodwill store. So the town had a donation center, a bins, and then a little store, but that little store could not be neater or cleaner. We did find three things there that we only picked up because they were still sealed, new in box. Otherwise, everything else there was organized, and you could just tell that they were just selling the stuff that they couldn't turn around and sell for more.
yeah, like they had a pack of batteries in the glass case for like $5. And after seeing that, I realized, wow, okay, this is everything was really nice.
It
Like,
was the cleanest, nicest place that we've been to. There might have been a couple shirts or clothes, but everything looked like it was picked through specifically to put onto the store floors. And family members and stuff that we talked to pretty much said that if you have junk, they won't let you take it. They only take
they're,
nice things, and then they're picky about what they choose to sell.
yeah, they're very picky, is what we were told. So we just didn't, picking things up there just wasn't the best. So we were pretty much just had clothes to put up. So our inventory that we had on hand, I think I'm pretty sure the highest priced things actually ended up selling. So everything we had on hand in our inventory already just wasn't very high priced.
Oh,
So
we had a couple things that still haven't sold.
yeah, there's a couple things, but like I think the Silver Mist doll was one of the higher priced items that we ended up having, which did sell.
But and good news, we were able to go to Goodwill since we've been back and we've been able to
Yes.
pick up stuff. I don't know if it's going to be sold by the time the video comes out. I was able to pick up a camera, a Canon G10, I think it was, for
Mhm.
$15 and it goes for easily over 200.
Yes, it had the case, it had the extra battery packs, the
We also
charger.
picked up some glasses for 99 cents that go for anywhere from 10 to 20. There's another camera that we picked up that if I can get it to turn on, it at least can double the money that we ended up getting for it. So we've already had a better time going to the Goodwill since we've been back.
I was very happy to go to our Goodwill. I think that's a weird thing to say, but I was so excited. I wanted to go that like we got back and I immediately was like, I want to go to Goodwill. I want
There was something else.
I'm missing the hunt. I'm missing the chase. I want to go see. I don't know. I picked up a couple glasses and then the camera. There were a couple vacuum cleaner pieces.
Yeah, I think it was the vacuum cleaner pieces.
Yeah, there were nothing like my Shark bare floor cleaner, but There were a couple vacuum cleaner pieces that looked pretty good.
But besides that, we're only talking about Saturday when we got back because Sunday, since it
Yes.
is Christmas time coming up, we do have 3 kids to prepare for. And between this and the Pokemon side of it, these are full-time jobs. Besides me donating plasma and us babysitting when we do, pretty much we're covering our bills, so we had extra money. So we took about 15 of our old Nintendo Switch games that haven't been touched in forever, that have pretty much either only been played once or just beaten and just left there pretty much to
Yes.
collect dust. And besides 3 of them, 12 of them sold within like 6 hours of putting them up for pretty much the asking price, which is why I say like make sure you look at the comps, you look at what everybody else is selling it for because your items will sell. Like I said, all those games sold price right away. So already for December, we're up $350 just from that for
Yes.
games that we haven't touched in a year. So if
Yes.
you are on eBay, you're trying to, if you're doing full time or part time, you want extra money for kids or whatever it is, just again, go look around your house for what you might have because you might have a couple diamonds in there that you haven't touched in forever that you might be fine parting with, and you could end up making a quick couple dollars.
What I always think about whenever I'm contemplating selling it or not is this is something that if I really want, I can always get in the future. There's always going to be another opportunity to get it. So if it's something that I really want in the future that I just haven't touched right now, I'm okay with parting with it.
Yes, one
That's something that I
YouTuber.
always think about is it's not gone forever. You can always get it again.
Yes, as one
So,
YouTuber told us at the beginning when we were learning about the Pokemon stuff, is if you have a valuable card, or in this case, an item, if you're not using it, it doesn't affect you, sell it now. Help grow your business, help grow it to the point that you're not terribly worried. And if you have to spend however much to get it back later, spend that money. But if it helps start you off on the right foot, it
yes.
helps get you to your goal, I would say it's worth a sell. We've gotten rid of
Yes.
plenty of our stuff. And yes, even for the Pokemon card business, like there's plenty of cards that we want to keep, but selling them is the correct choice. And we have, and that's helped us grow that business.
Yeah, because right now, especially where we're at financially, where we're at, what we can display, they would just end up sitting in a binder for years to come. And if we can sell it now and then end up buying it later where we could display it in a store, that's much better. So that is the biggest thing that I always look at whenever going to sell something or think about selling something is I just remember that little tidbit of
Like
you can always get it later. If it's something you really want,
when we started, we literally started by going around the house with the eBay app, just scanning everything that we could
yes.
and being like, is this something we want to let go? Oh, this is going to help because we started with $0, zero support from anything. And we've been able to now pay our bills on average. We're making about, I would say, about $1,200 a month in profit through eBay. We're making a couple $100 on from, yep, between the Pokemon cards, TCG Player, all of that, Facebook Marketplace. So we're at least able to pay our bills more comfortably. But there's always stuff that comes up. Like we went out of town for a week for Thanksgiving. There's still trips to come up for our kids for birthdays coming up, for out at
Yes.
hospital visits, anything. So we
Yeah,
are
so we have
working towards
hospital.
get to the next level. So that's why we were fine getting rid of them because it's for Christmas. They're not going to get used anyways.
Yeah, we have Christmas coming up, and then we have two birthdays, one in January, one beginning of February, like the first few days of February. So we were like, okay, we need to crack down and we need to make those couple extra bucks.
Yep. So you might just have money sitting there on your shelf or in a drawer or in a chest that you haven't seen, touched forever that can help you. I would suggest if you're okay with letting it go, say goodbye to it.
Yes. Hmm.
Let it go.
You can
It'll
always
be,
buy it later.
yep, you can buy it later if it helps, but you also have to be serious. Like in October, we didn't go on shopping at Goodwill as much. Same in August, we weren't doing as well. When we actually sit down and we get to it, it goes well.
Yeah, usually whenever we're like, oh shoot, a bill's due, or you know, Christmas is coming up, and we sit down and we're like, okay, we need to be serious about it. That's whenever the sales really start.
You just got to tell yourself it's time to get it done
Yeah.
and try. You'll get to a point where you can spend a couple hours a week going out looking for stuff, listing and shipping, and you're going to do okay. But at the beginning, you got to build your inventory. You can't sell any items if you don't have any items. They're just sitting in your death pile. You can't go. And the more items you have, the more likely you are to sell something.
From everyone that I've seen, I would say on average 3 months is the turnaround rate for any item. So what a lot of people are seeing, a lot of YouTubers where they're making this full time, where they're doing this more, making a more steady income, they have an inventory built up where they've been sitting on stuff for 3 4 months, and that 3 4 month turnaround is coming around where they're that stuff that they've been sitting on is selling now.
Yes, if you
And
see
that's usually what you're going to see, yeah, for the
if you see other YouTubers and you're like, hey, I want to be like that, or they're selling these items and everything, even us, look at their inventory. If they're showing their items exactly what they are, go look them up yourselves.
mm-hmm.
Go see what they are and everything. Because just because somebody's showing off like a hair dryer and you're like, oh, that doesn't mean every hair dryer show. They've done it for years. They find all this stuff like, and
I
some
bet you.
people at, like, they'll go to the Goodwill bins, like remotes. We have an entire bin of remotes that we picked up for $1, $2 each. They're gonna sit for a while there's other YouTubers that have hundreds or thousands of remotes that they picked up for the same price or less, and they're fine sitting on them. Because when you have an inventory that large, having one or two sell a day is very easy when you have 1,000.
Yeah, I did find that is we have had a lot of remote sell very recently, actually, that we've been sitting on for quite a few months. Even vacuum cleaner pieces, there's quite a few vacuum cleaner pieces that we picked up month to sometimes 3 months ago that are selling more recently. Just those types of things that,
Yes, you got to
yeah.
be, unless you're going to be extremely picky. I know there are some people out there that are making good money, but they're being extremely picky with the items that they have, and they're only looking for those high value items. One of the YouTubers that we ended up seeing, when he does his sales, he looks for those high ticket items that have a high sell through rate. And essentially, if they don't sell within 3 days, he puts them up for like 40% off just to get them out the door. Because if it's just sitting and not selling, he's not making any money. We're okay with most of our items sitting for a little bit, only because, like, yes, if they do have a sell through rate of about 50 to 60%, they're gonna sell at some point. Yes, it would be nice if they sold within 5 minutes of listing it, but
I
it's
I
if
think it's, for me personally, what I like to do is I like to find that balance between high sell through rate and it's okay to sit on. You want to make sure that you're having items that do go out the door quickly, and then you also want to make sure that you're having items that can sit for a few months, because that's exactly how it goes. I mean, this last week is a perfect example. A lot of the stuff that sold this last week was all stuff that we've been sitting on.
so yes, like most of our remotes,
So
vacuum cleaner pieces, all of them have been picked up for less than $5 each, and each of them will end up like doubling their money at the very least, or more. They'll each go for at least $10 to $20 depending on the piece. And having
board
30 or 40 of
games.
them just sitting around that we could spend, a couple dollars on here and there, that's another item to list, another thing to put in your store, and another thing that's going to sell one day.
Board games and toys are another two things that I feel like get overlooked, that are one of those things that you may sit on. But again, you can pick up a board game for, or some of these toys you can pick up for $1 and sell them for, $15 down the line, but they're low inventory space.
Yes, it's all, just remember,
So,
your inventory space does count. Make sure you have a space to put it all. If you want to see ours, let us know because we can go through it and show you how I've organized it all, how we have our whole packing supply, how we have where our death pile is and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which it's not taking up a lot of room. We have one shelf for that. We have one shelf for our death pile. We have one table that we do all of our packing on, picture taking, everything.
So another thing that I wanted to touch bases with, promoted listings.
Yeah.
We were looking at our analytics today and we found something interesting out. So we found out that 50% of our listings are sold through promoted listings. And we only promote at 2%. That's what we promote out. All of our items get promoted 2%. And out of those 50%, it was what, like $2,700 or something?
No, it was like three.
Oh, 3.7. I
Yes, we're
have
at a
the
total of about almost 8,000 sales. So it's about 3,900 for promoted and just organic sales. And when it all breaks down and everything, and then we'll have a picture here. I think it was about
80.
1,300 for eBay fees, which out of, for the entire time of making $8,000 worth of sale, only 1,300
Because
in fees. Great. There was also about, I think, 1,300 for shipping costs and everything, which most of our buyers pay the shipping costs. So that's not out of our pocket. That just goes towards our total sales. And all that just affects taxes, which we have no idea about. But out of the 4,000 ish dollars that were sold through promoted listings, it only cost us about $81, which I don't know about most of you, but I'm okay paying $81 to get an extra $4,000 worth of sales on items just to sell quicker.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So promote 2% based on our calculations. I would definitely say that's worth it. 2%.
They have changed it now when you do look, at least on the mobile app. It does say, like, oh, this category of stuff, this is how many or how much is sold. Like, I know for our Pokemon cards, it will tell me about 36% of all of them listed are promoted. Same for certain clothes brands and cameras and stuff. They'll tell you, like, yes, in this category, this is how much is being promoted. You only have to pay if they click on your listing when it is being promoted. So only 2% of the time, which, if 100 people search for your item, only 2% of that, only two people will see your promoted listings. Then they have to click and buy on it from there. So if they decide to put it in their cart, favorite it, walk away for a little bit, come back later, only when they buy it from there. And a lot of times you can see when they send you an offer that it'll show you, like, hey, this is coming from a promoted listing. You're gonna end up owing like this if you accept it, which, yes, again, 2% is not that much.
Yeah.
Most of the items, it's like 85 cents, I think we end up paying.
Mm-hmm. And that's also a thing as we're talking about the fees, promoted listings, all of that. Something that I feel like throws a lot of people off as well is when you're looking at your selling your total amount. So usually I can probably show like an example here or something, but when you look at the item and you're looking at your graph, I guess or whatever, it'll say like gross sales, and that includes shipping, fees, anything that is included. That includes sales tax. If the buyer, it depending on how you have it set up, but the buyer will pay the sales tax, and then if you have it set up for them to pay shipping, they'll pay the shipping, but that'll be shipping will be included. So it may say you got $57, and then sometimes when you're looking at your net income for the item, you're like, whoa, that is like so much less or whatever. And it's just because they're also including the shipping. So like if your buyer paid $13 on a $45 item, they're now saying that you technically made $58 on that item. And then whenever they're accounting for the gross and then for the net, they're taking out that $13 for shipping, which technically you never made that in the first place.
Yeah, so when you look at it, it'll say, like for us, it's about $8,000 we made, and then it will sit there and say, here's how much is your selling cost, which includes all the eBay fees, shipping costs, all of that, and then your net that you ended up making. When they calculate your fee, whatever you have your item listed for, and the amount that the buyer pays for shipping, if they pay, that goes into the total. So yes, like
Yes.
she said, if it's gonna be $40, you have an $18 shipping, your fees are based off of $58, not $40, 58, which again, I don't think they're too bad. 13%. Yes, you sell an item for $100 in total. You lose about $13, $14. You only make about 85. But that's something to consider when you buy the items, is that yes, you're gonna end up losing that 13 to 14%, but you're using their website. You don't have your own website, and if you did, you probably wouldn't be getting the sales as quickly, and you still have to pay fees for getting the stuff sold. You would have to promote your own stuff. You would have to advertise.
Yeah, something that we think about for what we everyone says content, 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 especially for like the Pokemon card side of it. But when you're using these platforms, you have to understand that these are already, I mean, when you look up a card, you look up an item on Google, eBay or TCG Player are automatically shown in the Google search. They're doing advertising for you.
Yes,
They're advertising your product through Google for you.
think
And
about all the sites that you go to buy or something, whether or not they're Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Bakari. What are the other ones?
yeah, I mean, right now, just take the time, go look up an item that you're trying to sell on Google, and you'll see that boom, right there, you're gonna have it may say Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Bakari, all selling this
And you
item,
would
but you're getting that free advertising.
and you'd rather go to those websites because they're trusted versus
John Smith down the road trying to sell on a
the same thing for the same price, just so that he could spend less on fees. You're
yeah.
probably going to be very wary of John Smith unless you know him.
Yeah, so that's something to take into account whenever you're looking at those fees. I just felt it was very important to also put in the shipping counts.
They're still on.
Okay, shipping counts toward those gross sales, because I know sometimes it can be a little daunting to see I made 8,000 and then look down and be like, no, I really only made 6,000, and then be like, what is it? Is eBay really having that many fees? No, the fees, in my opinion, aren't that bad.
Yes, and just remember shipping too. I've seen a lot of items just sit because people want huge amount for shipping. I
I
know it's
am
before our time. Some of the YouTubers that we've watched for a while, they've talked about the before you used to do like priority mail and everything, but now like USPS Ground Advantage is much cheaper 90% of the time. So like some items that you would have to put in that you're selling for like $15, and now it's going to cost more in just shipping. Just look at Ground Advantage. Look at that. Yes, you have to go get your own boxes and stuff. We get all of ours from Walmart. They're there. Sometimes we customize our own boxes depending on what we have. But, the buyers, they don't want to pay extra for something that's going to arrive. In Ground Advantage, in our experience, it's usually between 2 and 5 days.
Yeah, and it's
It,
very important, now that you mentioned shipping, it's very important to check your boxes and your pounds, your weight, all of that, and don't just take what the previous lister says. If you're selling one like this, or selling like this, or anything like that, double check those boxes,
yeah,
because I have a habit of, for our clothes, for whatever reason, whenever I sell one like this, the person before me has the shipping for like a huge box, like a 25
yes,
by
for like a tank top, they want like a 25, pretty much like a box that you would put your refrigerator in. So the shipping cost, like it might only be $5 for the shirt, but then it's
like $13
eight,
for
yeah,
shipping.
it's like $18 for like shipping.
And
which is, if the buyers know what they're paying for, but they don't end up selling. And there's been several that I've seen and I'm like, oh, this is why it hasn't sold. I've gone and fixed, now it's only like $5 for shipping and it's sold the next.
yeah, so double check your shipping. Double check your boxes and don't just trust the previous buyer. I've learned that. I always tell him once I put it up, can you go check the shipping? Can you go check the boxes? Can you tell?
But yes, if you want to follow us, all of our links to the other YouTube channels, Facebook, all that, they're more for the Pokemon stuff. But at some point, we're hoping to be able to open up an online store here in the next month or two, and then be able to open up a storefront hopefully in the next year. If you want to follow that, go ahead. They'll all be down there. We enjoy all of you guys' likes and supports. I know there's some people from the Pokemon channel that's been over here, and that's been great. You have anything else you want to tell them?
No, I think we're good.
All right, just remember to like and subscribe, and bye.
Yeah, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Bye.